Hampshire takes the 250 West Championship. Vialle is the 250 East champion. The 2024 Supercross champion is Jett Lawrence.
Yeah, for everyone who doubted, suck it.
Oh yeah, we got a good show today. Welcome to Title 24, presented by NBC Sports. RV, I can't wait to get after it. First of all, we're going to break down the 450 class, but at the end of the 450, it wouldn't seem like a right podcast unless we didn't unpack and give us our thoughts on the Hunter Lawrence and Jason Anderson controversy. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot to talk about with that, and lots of feelings as well. But first and foremost, RV, did you where were you this weekend? I know you're at home. The boys had some baseball tournaments, but how did that go? Y'all win? Did you advance? What's up?
Yeah, actually Friday Thursday was our last game when we met up for dinner at A's, and then just did Mother's Day this weekend. Just kind of cruised, laid low. We have a game tonight. We have to win this one tonight also, but got to watch race day live. Obviously the broadcast, and big weekend, big weekend for a lot of guys. RJ, Jett, obviously, and a lot of some other controversy in there that we'll go through. But no, all in all, it was a great weekend. Great weekend.
Also happy Mother's Day to all the great mothers. I know it's a day late, but happy Mother's Day to everyone. I hope all the moms out there had a great day. So maybe some of the moms are listen and watch Title 24 with their kiddos and husbands and all that fun stuff. So happy Mother's Day. Hope everyone had a great day. I was a slacker, dude. I took the red eye home and didn't sleep well. Do you ever get restless leg syndrome?
Yes, it sucks.
Oh, dude. We got in the flight, and our flight left at like 11:30. And I'm like, okay, everything's good. I'm like trying to get situated, and then like, dude, my legs start jumping a little bit. It sucked, but oh well. Like always, before we get going here, we got to thank our great partners, United Motorsports, Quad Lock Case, Boxo USA, and Dunlop Tires. Thank you guys for all your support on Title 24. Still got a lot of episodes to go, but we appreciate everybody and all of you guys, and couldn't do it without you. It was a big weekend. Did you like the track first and foremost?
Yeah, I thought the track was good, man. Watching race day live, watching how it was developing. It was another tough day of practice and qualifying. Really dry, slippery. It looked a little bit rough again. A lot of feedback through the motorcycle. And then we had that obviously weather delay. A little bit of sprinkling, which I think actually probably helped because it was very dry. But it was all in all good track, technical track. You could definitely lose the front or the rear pretty easily. A lot of shiny spots from what I saw. So I think it turned out to be a good finale for sure for Supercross.
Yeah, I like the whoops too, like jumping, blitzing. I feel like for Jett, for example, because we're going to talk about the 450 first. I mean, it was definitely one of those tracks where for sure blitzing was the best all night long if you could get on top of them. So I think the SMX track crew did a great job. And some of that I do feel like it's dirt dependent a lot of times. The whoops are dirt dependent. If they break down really bad, they're going to be jumpers. If they don't break down, you're going to see situations like what we saw in Salt Lake City. So I thought it was a great racetrack as well. I was a little concerned with the 90s and the short shoots. When I call short shoots, like shorter rhythm lanes, just so everyone tuned in. Sometimes I always get worried it's going to be a little one line, but I think the biggest thing there with the whoops, like you said, and then being an elevation makes it tricky. But other than that, I thought it was a great racetrack. First and foremost, Jett Lawrence, it was somewhat of a formality, if you will. He went in there, did what he had to do. From your side of things, I'm sure it wasn't a surprise, but just walk us through it. Explain how you felt like he handled the night from your perspective, and take us a trip through his journey this year, RV, and what you think.
I mean, I can't say perfect season because it wasn't a perfect season, but for 17 rounds and when we've talked about it a lot, his maturity, the way he races the motorcycle, what he's been able to achieve up to this point at such a young age, is is phenomenal. You know, it's really, he's setting records. You know, winning as a rookie as a 450. I know Dunge is the only one that I raced against that was able to win as a rookie. And dude, I go back to my first 2 years. I was nowhere near ready to be able to win a Supercross championship my very first year. So to be able to see him come out and do that, the program is just so solid. His riding is bar none, you know, some of the best riding that I've seen. So all in all, the kid has the package. And now we're switching gears. We're going to move to outdoors. Obviously we know he went 22-0 last year. Dude, it's looking to be just a phenomenal season for him, but I can guarantee you that was a lot of weight lifted off his shoulders, securing that first 450 Supercross championship.
Did you think that he would go for the win, or like from the beginning, like going into Salt Lake, were you like, he might just go win? Or like, was there ever a moment where you watched once he started the main where you're like, dude, nah, he's not going for it?
You know, I think it was all race dependent, you know, like his start dependent on where he was going to push it. If he puts himself in a position up front where he felt comfortable of being able to do that, 100%, he's going to go for the win. If he would have came out around the first turn, around 10th place, he would have managed himself, stayed out of trouble. If the win was available, you know, take it. But I think he, you know, wasn't going to push it. I mean, he had a nice little points gap. Why risk it? Just essentially get through that main event the best you can and wrap it up, right? So and that's what he did. He was able to, you know, got a great start and you know, was able to wrap that baby up.
Yeah, he had a couple good saves too. One was, let's see here, they crossed back over the start straight, turned right, did a triple, and then coming out of that right-handed 180, do you remember that, where they would come out and they'd triple onto the tabletop? And it's like his bike started to oversteer and slide at the same time, and then it hooked and then straight it up. And so that was a good save. And then later on, when we show you the drama between, here's where he almost loses it. Watch a bike oversteers the rut, drags him over. That's a good save.
Gnarly. It could that could have been pretty nasty, actually. If it kept pushing and then unloaded right at the very top of that jump. You tend to come off really in these really awkward positions, you know, with your arms kind of, you almost get ejected off the bike.
Yeah, we talked about Jett so much. Everyone listening and who watches or listens to Title 24, I mean, really, there's not much else to say about Jett. I mean, we've praised him, and then we've also been critical at times. But this was, again, it was a formality for the most part, I should say. And he's an incredible athlete. I will feel like, in closing, for the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Series, I expect him to continue to get better. I think that other guys are going to raise the game. He is going to force other riders to raise the game. But I think most mistakes that he made this year, you just have to assume that he'll be even better next year, knowing what he learned, what he did wrong in certain situations. Cooper Webb, hell of a championship. I think, moving from Red Bull KTM to Monster Energy Star Yamaha Racing Team, how Coop did isn't that surprising to me, because I know what he's capable of. And does it surprise you how well he did?
I mean, look, I know he's dealing with that thumb injury. Is a total, obviously, big issue for him. But man, he stayed in it. He showed up. He was there. He heat race rode really well. Had some good speed in the heat race. But all in all, it just was. It's tough to ride with an injury like that, and also in your hand. You know, like that's one of the most critical, almost parts of your body when it comes to racing. That's you got all your hand controls up there, the throttle, the brake, the clutch. So dealing with a thumb issue like that, I mean, yeah, to look back and say he stayed in this thing, he put himself in a great position, but it just wasn't enough. And then with some, call it bad luck with a thumb, the championship got away from him. But he stayed in it. And he finished it off strong. I think nobody can sit back and say he didn't give it 100%.
Yeah. I hate the role play, but I mean, I would have loved to seen him not get hurt. Would he have won the championship? I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, and I'm not gonna comment on speculation because just it's my opinion, and I don't know if he would have won the championship. I think of anyone else that Jett was racing, I would have hated to race against him in this situation probably the most, just because he's so solid mentally, dude. It would have been fun. It would have been fun to play out. I wish that how well he rode in Salt Lake, that he could have maybe ridden like that in Philly and in Denver. But
Yep. No, I agree. It was there was some really good racing out on the track, and I'm going back and kind of watching and thinking of, obviously, Chase's amazing ride.
Yeah. How you feel about that, dude?
I know we talked about it on the previous show last week of all these guys starting positions being on the outside. Now I just want to make a point of bringing it up. Deegs on the inside, Chase pretty far on the inside. We did. We look back. Jett was on the inside, fifth gate from the inside. But Chase, I think we have some replay of the first turn. You can see right there we have Chase 3 from the inside. Look at that start. He's coming up the inside, controls the inside. Obviously, you got up and then just runs right in and whole shot right there. That's kind of what we were talking about, Ricky. I know you agree.
Yeah,
wholehearted with me. Like that. You put yourself in that good position off the gate, and also protecting that inside, and he rode a phenomenal race. If he could have found this stride 5 races ago, not that he would have been in this for the championship, but how would that have affected his season? And then also how would it have affected his going into outdoors? I think they're finding some things. I think they're working for, getting into that position to where, we should have a really good outdoor season.
I do think, and the reason too for people tuned in, I feel like when you're learning a motorcycle, your window of it being right or getting away with an ill handling motorcycle is a little bit easier in pro motocross, just because you have ruts that you can bank off of. It's just, you're not depending on so much grip and the mechanics of the motorcycle, in my opinion, on moto as you are in Supercross. And Supercross, comparing the difference, like I feel like you rely, the turns are so much tighter, the speeds are slower. Everything has to be right. If things aren't right, ill handling motorcycles makes it very, very difficult to win. It's the little things that add up to be huge in Supercross, where outdoor, I think the harder you twist the throttle, the better you're going to do for the most part. And I think that you can overcome maybe not having the best bike in pro motocross. And I think that his bike clearly it's capable of winning. I think Chase is going to be strong in the outdoors. Am I saying he's going to win the championship? No, but do I think he's going to be just as good as he was last year in a big challenge to Jett and the rest of the field? Of course he is. I think he's going to do really well because of I know it's a new bike, but because of those circumstances, what I said about how it's easier to mask ill handling motorcycles in moto. That's why I think he'll be just fine, I think.
Yeah, like you said, like take Salt Lake, for example, a motorcycle that you're not really gelling with, or is a little down on traction, or you add that Supercross suspension to it, and then on a track that we just saw with the blue groove and a little bit of the wet slippery too, and the dry, like it really magnifies all of the issues you may have. And to your point of going outdoors, like, it's a bigger track, it's wider, you can get away with more things, or not having your setup, in my opinion, 100% perfect.
Yep. Chase, actually, quote from him, he's like, new start technique. It took me a while to get used to the KTM. It is different on the start, feels more up in my face, and had to get over the top a bit more. I appreciate that detail. Main event, I did something really risky. The heat race, all qualifying, I'm going to try second gear. F it, we're going to run it. And it was really good. It was a really good start. I kind of risked it for a bit for a good start. That's crazy, huh? Do most guys start first?
Dude, I don't think we ever 250s for sure. 250 class, I believe they all start in first. I mean, that's what, but 450, I believe we all started in the second gear, even at altitude. So interesting. I don't remember. Maybe we did start in first at Salt Lake.
I know I started in first at
Did you?
Colorado.
Okay, then maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, Colorado. You're right. You're correct. Colorado, we would have started in first. So interesting to know what everybody else started. Was it a second gear start for most others? Did they, and then Chase, deciding last minute to go to first? Look, it panned out. It worked. The guy made a clutch decision right as the gate was dropped or going down to the gate, like for main event time, and made it work. Those are the things as a high level racer that you need to be okay with, and also be able to make those changes. If you've never started in first gear and you're like, hey man, maybe you only did it 2 or 3 times in a practice. And then all of a sudden you go down and still being able to execute your start, pull the whole shot, and you only had 3 or 4 gate drops or practice starts being in first. Those are the things you have to be able to adjust on the fly, and going down and executing it and putting yourself in that position with something you don't have a lot of trust in, or not trust, but a lot of info, information on.
Dunlop due diligence section, that was on Sexton. I think he's catching momentum at the right time, and I think he will be good again. Like what we talked about earlier, RV. You can mask an ill handling motorcycle, or if you're not comfortable, I think he's going to be strong in the outdoors, and I'm looking forward to it. Am I bummed that other guys are out? Of course we are, but dude, it's going to be fun to see what he's able to do. Dude, did you expect Jay Coop to do as well? Oh, wait, before we go to Jay Coop, hey, Cooper Webb's having his surgery today on his thumb, so best of luck with that, Coop. I think he posted it on his Instagram yesterday how he would what the procedure was. So it looks like he's going to be out for 8 weeks, assuming everything goes well. And one thing is a blessing of all of this is I know he's got a new baby on the way, so he'll be able to spend some time with his new baby. It's funny how things work. So good luck on your surgery, Coop. Hope it goes well. But Justin Cooper, nice little podium there. He's rock solid all night long. And he's a jumper through the whoops, and for sure jumping was slower in the 450 class. So
it was. He made it work. I thought those whoops by far were those were blitzers. We have some you'll see later in the show the amount of closing rate that the riders had, the ones that were really coming in with really good speed and closing that rate up on the guy in front of them very quickly. So I do think, yes, jumps, the whoops were for sure quicker to blitz the other night. But I've said this, I think 4 shows ago, he has impressed me on the 450 coming from the 250 class. Yes, he's always been fast. We know that he's got probably I think the most fast lap qualifiers for outdoors on a 250, so the kid has skills. The guy has skills. But yes, for the 450 class, honestly, I didn't really consider him of being a threat or being somebody that could be up there as much as he has. So he has impressed me. And I think, I think that there's still some more in the tank for him. He's kind of a rookie.
He's going to get better.
Yeah, he's going to get better. He hasn't been in this class for very long, right? I think he did 250 Supercross and then 450 or whatever, he hasn't been here very long in this position, in this class. So yes, impressed. I am impressed by him.
Yeah. But before we get to the Boxo breakdown and the Hunter and JA stuff, that's going to be so fun. Yeah, I think Justin Cooper is a great guy to have on your team for a lot of the things that you just mentioned, RV, for sure. Dude, he gets good starts. He's rock solid. I mean, on a good night, he's going to be on the podium, lead some laps, and he just the 450, how he can bounce around and, you know, he doesn't override the bike. I think you have to have that trait. I think his longevity and dependability will be good. So, you know, I hope, I don't even know what his contract is. It'd be cool to see him stay where he's at, but dude, if he's on the block, I think he's a good hire for sure. For those reasons.
He's your perfect, like, call it second tier rider, right? You somebody that can podium, be in the top 5 most of the time, win some heat races, be fastest qualifier in practice. You're getting a lot of good things from him on that point of view, from that. So I really think that, I think that there's some more good things to come from Justin, just because like I said, he hasn't been in this class for very long, and he's definitely showing that he's capable of running up front with these guys.
Yep. All right, dude, I'm excited. I'm excited for this. So the Boxo breakdown, if you haven't yet, go check out Boxo. Great company, boxousa.com. Been supporters of Title 24 since our inception of this podcast. So we appreciate you, RV. I know you got your build out in your garage.
Yeah.
The thing looks sick, by the way. The big old OSM setup, and you got it. Is it all did it come fully equipped?
Yeah, it's all ready. And the last thing I'm waiting for is a roller toolbox from the boys over at Boxo.
Oh, cool.
I think I'm going to get like not the 45, but a 38-inch box that's fully loaded with tools, and I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, they did a phenomenal job. The install went perfect.
Sweet. How long did it take? Take them all day?
Oh man, that's the cool thing. Is they popped in. I think they had everything leveled out and literally left 4 hours after install. So it's really cool. It's quick, and the product's awesome.
Ah, dude. All right, so there you go. Boxo breakdown this week is Hunter Lawrence versus Jason Anderson, and I should honestly, I should say it's probably with the Lawrence brothers versus Jason Anderson, and it was pretty comical, I think, what happened this weekend in a fun way. But there's definitely some massive beef, and so what we did at Title 24 is we wanted to put how all this crap started. Okay. And kind of numerical order, if you will. So the first thing, this is where it started, is in San Diego. In the main event, Jett was getting frustrated at Anderson, hogging up the lines. I mean, everyone in this class would have done that, right? It's for position. Go ahead.
And by the way, that right there, totally clean, ran him high, no issues. Yeah. Now we know each of their traits, right? So obviously Jason wasn't pumped, and now we see afterwards right here
the top,
the helmet grab, like getting in each other's face. So this is San Diego. This is what the first domino that fell. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, grabbing helmets, all that. Okay, so this is where the beef kind of started, right? And then after this, like, I'm sure that maybe they had a little run-ins here and there. I think something happened at Birmingham in a practice start, like they do a practice start, and Anderson closed the door on him, but Jett wasn't letting off either. But this is Nashville. Okay, let's fast forward to Nashville. This was early in the race, and we weren't able to talk about it. And just because from a time sensitive thing, I mean, we could sit here and break this down all day long. So that was another run in with Hunter this time and Anderson. It was early in the race. I mean, Anderson probably had a lot more. If we go down and break it down more, I'm sure Anderson had a lot more speed coming there. And Hunter, I'm guessing, wasn't anticipating that he was going to do that, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, look, that's a tough spot to be in right there. That tight turn, but and then obviously previous run in San Diego, JA's must have something out for the old Lawrence boys,
dude. So okay, that's the second thing that we had on tape. Again, like I said, I think there was something at Birmingham also in practice, but whatever, who cares? So then we go to Salt Lake City. And the top came off the pot today, and here you go.
Yeah, Jason just right up the inside, kind of blows Hunter out. I see that AMA has given warnings and fines as Anderson comes up underneath of of Hunter. Yes, he hits him. I also,
what do you think, dude? Like I mean, he didn't.
Okay, here's my take on it. If because of the previous run-ins with Hunter, with Jett, like that was, I think, an awareness deal. Like Hunter should have known who was behind him and at least checked. And if he didn't check, and he didn't, I don't know. If he did check and he's like, oh, it's Jason Anderson. You could see how Hunter came in quick and tried to get around, but Jason wasn't having it. He was going to run. He was running him up into the bales regardless. So I think right at the last second, right here, he should have come up and tried to cut down, slowed down. He would have avoided that. Obviously,
and you look and you watch Jason's line. I bet Jason would have taken that same line had Hunter not have been there. Did he use up the track? Of course he did.
Yes.
I tend to agree with you on this one. Hunter could have avoided that for sure.
I think he should have. And if he didn't know, he should have known, especially with their past track record between the two of them, you know, Jason getting into Hunter, Jason getting into Jett. You know, most of the things that I see, like, it's not like, look, I'll use Barsha for example. Like a lot of the stuff that I do disagree with a lot of how he races and rides in a lot of times, or have in the past. We know he's trying to clean that up, but I do disagree. But like that there to me is a racing incident. Yes. Do they have some beef? Yeah, probably. But also that to me wasn't added like a T-bone. That to me was a full racing incident. So if they're finding off of and giving warnings off of that, I don't know if that's necessarily the right thing, because to me that's a racing incident. Now I get why they fine and give the warnings, because they don't want this to keep going and get worse and fester and become a real problem. At this point, it's not a problem. I think it's great racing.
All right, so I didn't catch this, but I found some supporting information from Wygant had sent it to us from Racer X and the crew there that they had shooting and had the rights to. But look at this. This is afterwards.
Yeah, just Jett coming in and giving him the business for his brother. But dude, Jett right almost here goes down. Watch him. Look at his leg and foot. Like he almost loses it. So it was a ballsy move, you know. It was a ballsy move in a championship state, and time and everything, right, at that night. You know, so dude, that was ballsy. I mean, he could have completely kept his nose clean, and just rode that thing in you know, rode it in seventh place and just, you know, called it a day. But
dude, can you imagine, dude, what if he did something there and like broke his rear brake, you know, and ripped the caliper off or something like that, or
I say ballsy,
the brake line.
That's why I say ballsy move, you know, because he could have kept his nose clean, but
then he looks back.
Yeah, but once again, racing incident. I think it's good. It's good for the sport. It was good for that night. If we wouldn't have had those two kind of incidents in the 450 main event, it would have been pretty uneventful.
Yeah, I you know, that's just emotions. I don't have a sibling, so I don't know what it's like to I wouldn't know what it's like to get my back up or defend a sibling. I know what it would be like for my family members and stuff. So
Yeah.
I've tried to put myself in someone other than my siblings. I know what it would be like. So I'm not in that position, so I don't know. But clearly, I mean, dude, there's no secret, dude. They're a family. They stick together. They're ride or dies. And you know what? I kind of can sympathize with Jett, but at the same time, like big picture, like that could have easily turned out really bad.
Good. He almost fell, kind of. I mean, you know, he could see there, foot dragging, bike kind of sliding. Like it wasn't ideal. It wasn't like this super calculated like pass where it was just you know, made everything happen and there was no mistakes on his part. Look, he slams into the side of Jason right here, gets back on the gas real hard. Look, the front wheel almost kind of rolls off the side of the bike, and then not to mention things that could have happened with the motorcycle per se. You know, we know rotors can be bent, but nonetheless,
that was right before this happened right here. Whoa. So clearly his mind wasn't in the game at this point.
Ooh.
so that was right before that happened. So interesting. All right. So now the last thing is we have the press conference, and I just saw this before we recorded this pod. We're recording. So well, this is okay. Now Hunter's going to go to the principal's office, and I said this like, okay, you're getting lapped, and then you're messing with the guy. Like, I'm like, all right, I know it's the last race, not a whole lot on the line other than your safety for these two guys, but I don't know. Like, I think I'm going to give my analysis on what I think they should have done. But go ahead. What do you think about that?
Well, that is where I could see now. I'll take my words back on the fine and the warning. That is acceptable for a fine and a warning. Being lapped and interfering in that race. You know, obviously I saw what happened, you know, previously, Jason putting him down. Not, you know, but yeah, probably not the best move when you're
right.
Lapped.
Dude, yeah, when you're getting lapped, you can't do this. So pow.
Oh,
okay.
So
now it's now Anderson got a piece of Hunter, and then then a couple laps later, Jett gets him. Now check this out. This is after the race.
Yeah.
Okay. This is after. They're getting in a little argument. I thought I was looking for the helmet grab.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. And then look at now they're gonna get after each other again. Not sure. They should be mic'd up. Can you imagine if they had Cardo comms?
Would be awesome if it was mic'd up, dude.
Hey, let's go have a beer together and talk about it, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, let's do this. Yeah.
Oh, Jacob Hayes right there, just making sure, bodyguarding it out.
You see his mechanic. You see Hunter's mechanic. He's tapping Anderson's mechanic like, hey, dude, let these two guys do what they're doing. We cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No,
there you go.
I like it. It's controversy. It you know, like that. That's what I'm not saying we need that, right? But I do think that it brings the this is emotion. It's the last race. It's championships on the line. All these things. I think it's good for the sport.
It is okay. So it doesn't, dude. It doesn't stop there. Aaron, roll that little sound bite from Jett in the press conference.
I think he just forgot that there was two Lawrences out there, and he did it right in front of one of the other Lawrences. So, yeah, guys like them, they just need to hit in the mouth sometimes. So, here's what it is.
Yeah. No, I agree. You kind of got to stick up to the bully. I'm not saying Jason is the bully, but yeah, he pulled a move in front of Jett, pulled a move on Hunter in front of Jett, and that was the repercussions. So
wait, like, okay, hold up. Okay, this is what I think on the situation. I said it in the broadcast, but now this is what I love about Title 24. Got some more time to talk about it. Is it ideal? Of course it's not. Going back to the beginning of all this, when Jett got upset, I understand why he's upset. Do I agree with how everything went down from both riders in San Diego? No, not necessarily, but I see both sides. I understand both. And clearly and truly, Jason did nothing wrong at San Diego. Nothing.
No,
Nope. He's not going to pull over for anyone. And dude, Jett knows that, you know, but Jett's a fiery little young kid, you know, he's a rookie and he's not going to learn unless he goes through this. I've done stupid stuff like this, even dumber than this. So I'm not, you know, like I see both sides, I guess. And so you fast forward and then all the B-roll that we just showed you. At the end of the day, dude, like, yeah, that was, remember when we talked about Birmingham? This was in practice.
Yes.
It's like, what's happening here? Now, I could look at this and tell you that what happened in Birmingham and tell you like, well, that's actually, it's not just Anderson's fault. It's Jett's too. You know, like just slow down. If you know the dude if you know Anderson's on the inside of you, don't mess with him. Like just take the high road and go. And I think that there's going to be times where Anderson's going to take the high road too. So going back, I'm going to land my plane. Listen, dude, it's racing. And I just think they're bickering and going back and forth about petty BS. And dude, I think for all three of them, I think that they have too much to lose. I don't, and I'm putting my dad hat on. And if any of these kids were my kids, I'd be like, hey, dude, y'all go. Well, Jack can't have a beer. Go somewhere, go play golf, go hang out, go do something that mutually all three of you guys can do, and go figure it out. Like, try to come to terms, air your grievances with each other, and be done with it. Because at the end of the day, and here's what Anderson talks about. I like his open honesty. Was trying to go 2 for 2 on the helmet grab last night, but on the real people, fans of our sport being hating so hard on my character based off of the 20-minute dirt bike race could give you more insight to my life and more interviews to persuade you I'm a good person, but F that. Blah, blah. He is. I like Anderson. I do think he's a great guy. Dude, he's a family man. And my point in telling you, like, dude, all three of you guys, go figure it out. Get over this straight up. And you know what? I'm sure they probably neither of those sides agree with what I'm saying, but what would you do? What would you do?
I don't know if you're gonna get what you said there. Hey, go play a round of golf together and work this out. I doubt that's happening for sure. But what I do agree with on what you said was there's too much to lose, and I will say that there's too much to lose on Jett's behalf and Hunter and also Jason. Like, for example, we're going to start a new season or a new outdoor, and we're starting outdoors here in a couple weeks. Jett is obviously the favorite. And if you make enemies and enough of them out there, it could come back to bite you in areas or at a time that isn't really ideal. And it probably could have been avoided if some of these run-ins in the past haven't happened, and you don't let the emotions get a hold of you. But we're dealing with a lot of money on the line, championships on the line, also young. Jett's younger than Jason and younger than his brother. But it is kind of but to back that up, it is a sport where there is contact. There is contact sport, and I think it is a contact sport to a certain degree. And I think that it adds to our racing. Like I had said, if none of this would have happened, number one, we wouldn't have this topic right now on Title 24, and number two, that main event would have been pretty lackluster, in my opinion. Now we have, so it comes with a whole. As long as these guys can not get over their skis too far and have it become a problem like the Jason and Barsha for a while there, last season, where it was just every time you turn around they're together, AMA's fining, it's affecting their racing. That's what they need to avoid, is having it affect their racing. I love the emotion.
Right. Yeah, that's why I'm like, if you can't go to play golf, whatever, yes, but I'm saying put it behind you. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It really isn't in the grand scheme of things. When I look back, I think everything's been silly to this point. So, and the reason that I say put it behind you is because exactly what you said, RV, because at some point down the road, you're not going to need a favor, but you don't need anybody making your job that much harder. So,
totally.
So anyhow, so that's why we said that. We're rolling into the quad lock question of the week. This is one of the best ones, in my opinion, this year. I'm looking forward to that quad lock case. We appreciate everyone, dude. So many people are stoked on the giveaways and swag that they've gotten. Ruler Duder, Ruler Duder's like, dude, no question. Just wanted to say, quad lock, literally the best company. They got good stuff. They got a whole bunch of really cool things, not just mounts and cases. And, I've shown it before. Look, I got my desktop wireless charger right here if you need it. So they got a whole bunch of stuff. So the winner of the quad lock question this weekend is Logan_Burke. And Logan, appreciate you being a fan in the sport of Title 24. Logan Burke, what is more impressive? Beating 72 Supercross wins or 7 Supercross titles? I love this, dude. We could talk about it all day.
That's
in your mind, what is more impressive to you, RV, and why?
Well, I think for the simple answer is obviously him already having 7 championships, right? But I think the deeper dive that I'll take is what will be more impressive, or if it's achievable, is to tie or beat that 72 wins of Supercross, because that, I mean, there's a big gap between yourself, second place essentially, call it, from to MC. 72 Supercross wins is a lot. I think I have 42, 41, I think.
I have. Yep. Yep. I
Between,
got 48. I
yeah,
think Eli's second for sure. I think he has 52. I think.
yep. So 52, as we know, he's still here, he's still around, but he is on the tail end of his career. So that's not achievable, in my opinion, for Eli to win 72 Supercross wins. So I think that if Jett can get close to that, and that if that, I know he made a comment like, let's go after that as a goal. I think that's a good goal to have. It's a big goal to have, but at his age and what he's accomplished already, it is definitely not out of the question. So I think, to answer the question, the bigger, what I think would be more impressive is to be in it long enough to make to surpass 72 Supercross wins.
Yeah, I think 7 championships, Supercross championships, is more impressive, and the reason that I think that the championships are, because I think it comes down to, number one, who are you beating in those championships?
Yeah. Okay.
And so if the depth of competition is deeper, it's going to be harder to win. I'm sure that you know how that is. I certainly know how it is. So that, to me, I feel like at the end of the day, to hold it together for 17 rounds, that's harder than anything.
Yep. And let me clarify here. Are we talking 7 Supercross championships?
Supercross
To date right now that Jett has, or 7
No.
50 Supercross championships?
Supercross titles. It says 7 Supercross wins or 7 Supercross titles.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought we were adding that's what Jett has currently. Does he have 7 between light or 250?
Yeah, he's got 7 in total of his professional career.
Okay.
So you want to
to back that up, I would say, if we're including the 250 championship, as we know, it's only half the rounds. It's 7, still a feat on its own. But if you're talking 7 450 Supercross champions, sure, that's going to be more impressive than the 72. And if he's winning 7 Supercross championships, he should be damn close to that 72 also. So that's my 2 cents.
Yep, absolutely. I think that 7 championships is way gnarlier, way more impressive than 72 wins. 72 wins is super gnarly. But dude, if someone says, would you rather have 72 wins and 2 Supercross championships, or would you rather I can tell you which one I would have, right?
100%.
I mean, yeah, and the reason, again, the reason that I think the championships are more impressive over the wins is because there is an element to there where strength of schedule does mean something, and it's not to take away from anything that anyone's ever done. Doesn't take anything away from your 42 wins, from my 48 wins, to Eli's 52 wins, to MC's 72 wins. Some years are easier than others, and you're going to rack them up sometimes, and then sometimes you're not. So I don't know. I wish there was a way that you could measure, like they do in other sports, especially college ball, strength of schedule. That'd be fun. I think it'd make those years that you don't win as much, maybe a little, I'm saying race wins, more special because of that. So anyhow, I think I love that. Logan Burke, great question. You are the winner, and that was, it's fun. It's fun. I don't think we've ever talked about that on Title 24. So that was a good one. I like that.
To keep your head in the game and deal with the injuries and deal with the travel and deal with the ups and downs emotionally, and then show up every Saturday to win, or to give it your all. And then also going back, if you don't have that good weekend and something happens, like, I'll use Jacksonville, for example, not even making the main event, from going from a 25-point lead to a 2-point lead, literally. So yes, that is it. That is a gnarly thing to do.
Logan, go to Title 24 Instagram page, DM, and JH will pass you along to Quad Lock. They'll get you dialed in, and I hope you like your package. I think you'll be pretty stoked. Probably, hopefully, just like Ruler Duder liked his product. So appreciate the support, dude. That was an awesome question. Big weekend in the 250 RV. RJ Hampshire getting it done. Tom Vialle getting it done. Then how well Deeks rode as well. That was a lot of fun. But United Motorsports moment. That is our moment of the night, especially RJ's ride in a winner take all situation. You know, whoever beats one another wins the championship. It's going to be exciting to talk about that and listen to your insight. Was it a surprise? United Motorsports, remember the next week is the United Motorsports Supercross Championship Grand Prize giveaway. It's a Boxo 3-drawer motobox set of Dunlop MX tires as well. Quad Lock gift card, Cardo pack. Cardo is chipped in as well, and you're going to get a signed jersey for myself and RV. Remember, you don't have an opportunity to win unless you go to www.unitedmotorsports.com/title24. If you haven't signed up yet, do it now. Forever hold your peace. Otherwise, you won't have an opportunity to win this incredible opportunity. United Motorsports, we appreciate you. And dude, I tell you what, all day long, RJ had the speed, brother, and
He
qualifying everything.
He showed up Saturday, man, and watching race day live, watching RJ. Those are my two, right? Those are my two guys that obviously I was watching. Yes, I was watching Vialle, but with the points gap, wasn't all eyes were on the Levi and RJ being tied and winner take all scenario. That's just the way it was. And from what I saw watching race day live, RJ looked comfortable on that track all day. I saw some moments from Levi. Levi just looked a little bit off Saturday. I saw some moments in some rhythm sections multiple times in the same one, just either going deep or kind of getting kicked over the bars, or just happened to make little mistakes. We're watching a replay right here. Just didn't get the start. Yes, he was on the inside. He tried to recover. He started right there behind, obviously, RJ right in front of him, but he cases that double, loses a bunch of ground right there, and just couldn't make it happen. He didn't have it last night, and RJ did. RJ said, in the presser, it's taken him literally 10 years to get to this point, so he's been waiting for this for a very long time. So not to take anything away from him, but Levi not being in this position for very long, he didn't show up and ride to his full potential, in my opinion. And that's what we saw. And that's why RJ was crowned the 250 champ.
Yep. 250 West Coast champ. Real quick. So, I mean, we've been pretty critical of RJ our first year, last year, and sometime, a couple times maybe during the outdoors and a couple races this year. But where would you say, or is there anything that has impressed you about RJ and how he was better this year than he's ever been before?
I think, look, we've all known RJ's had the speed, right?
Yeah.
It's been his inconsistencies, his crashes. He showed a little bit of it in Supercross this year. San Diego, for example, was not in a terrible position. I think third or fourth, goes down literally on the last lap, like 3 turns from the finish. Those are those scenarios that we're talking about. And he showed glimpses of this year, but he was also able to rein it back in and get his feet back underneath of him and ultimately keep his eyes on the prize and at that end goal and stay in this fight every single weekend. And he was able to do that. And that's why I feel like, he's well deserved, and the road to get here and how hard it is. And, he didn't have it as I don't think I had it easy, but he didn't have it as easy as I did, right? Like coming out and so for some other athletes, like Jett or forever, it's taken him, he said, 10 years to put himself in this position. And you can see the emotion on his face right now. We're watching him and Nate Dogg is the team manager and the whole team around him. He's just he's so excited and overwhelmed to be in that position. So it's really cool to see to and then also to hear the story. Hey, I've been at this for 10 years trying to knock one of these down, and he just did it. So really cool to see.
Yep, I agree with you, RV, 100% on. That's what I noticed this year. Take this year alone. He didn't ride. Yes, he was riding that edge, but when I say riding that edge, I don't feel like he was out of control, maybe going over his limit like he has in years past. I can't remember what broadcast it was. And I talked about that. I'm like, I just feel like this year his speed is a little more in control. Now, comparing Levi and how he rides compared to RJ is a lot like I was, a lot like you were. We're loose on the bike, little things like you're going to slip, you're going to come up short, like you're going to lose the rear end coming out of the corners. That's just his style. There's nothing wrong with that. He's aggressive. He goes for it. He's not as precise as a guy like Levi, not as smooth and technical, but that doesn't matter. And so I have felt like his comfort zone was a lot better this year. And I think that's some of the reasons why he didn't have those mistakes that have plagued him the last 9 years. I truly believe that. And so I reached out to RJ and just was telling him congratulations and I'm happy for him, and asked him, I would love for him to come on with us because I would love him. I mean, we could obviously talk about the title and he can walk us through that. But what I want people to know and understand about RJ is how his upbringing was and what that was like. I was around his family a lot as a young kid. This is before RJ was even born. And I got to see RJ come up through the amateur ranks, and his story is really incredible. And basically how he came from, he did a lot with very little. And really, I feel like he's been in a situation where he has to get it done. And, he wasn't born on third, for a lack of better words. So that's really what I appreciate about him, just because I have some background. And I don't know, outside of his close friends, I don't know that everyone knows that. I mean, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know if you know that. Like, dude, you go there. They didn't have the badass motorhome and box vans, and his bikes weren't always plush, and they were good. But I mean, like he didn't have the shiny new toys like a lot of his competitors did. And, he didn't have the Max Team Green deal like some of his competitors did. So, I just think that some of that is an element to why he's never given up. Like I want him to share those stories. And that's what, that's why I appreciate to what he's done. Has it taken him some time? Absolutely.
I think by the time it's taken though, like I can tell you that he'll forever be not more grateful than myself. I can only speak for myself, but I won at a young age and won right away. So the significance of it, I look back now at 35 and I'm like, dude, that was damn cool. That was gnarly. And I can appreciate it a lot more, him being 31 and winning his first, like just where he's at mentally. And, I was 18, 19 years old when I won. Right. So like, what a difference. And you can, that's why you can see it on his face. You can really see the emotion coming out in him. So, but I will say, we'll just want to jump over and talk Levi just a quick second.
Yeah, go for it, dude. It's your show too. Get it on.
I think that he rode his heart out. He rode phenomenal. Best we've all seen him ride. Yes, he came up short, but I think he's got a lot of good things to come from, this, next year and what we're going to see in the future. Because he really hasn't been around that long, and he was, he switched teams and over to Monster Energy Pro Circuit. And, I think that's all gelling well. So for next year, I think he's going to be a threat once again, but another year under his belt. He's dealt with this pressure. He's been in a championship scenario, and he essentially, I don't want to use the word failed, but he failed to secure that championship. So now it won't be so, because he's 24 years old, it won't be so new to him. He'll be familiar. So he could be dangerous next year too. Again, even more.
Yeah. One thing I want to talk about strategy. And, there's several different strategies. If you're Levi, maybe you want to go out there and you want to win. But RJ talked a little bit about what his strategy was, and it was very similar. It was funny when I heard him say that. It's very similar to what my strategy was in 06 and going into Vegas. I'm not going to talk about it. We talked about it a million times. But RJ, he says he didn't want to win the race. Like when he was behind Deegan, he's like, dude, keep going. And couple important things. Like he kept telling himself, dude, jump the whoops, just jump the whoops, don't blitz them. And when you hear things like that, and he stuck to it, he didn't take the bait. And why do you think that he said jump the whoops? And I don't know this. I'd love to ask him this, because he probably knew that the risk versus reward wasn't worth it to blitz it. That's not his strong suit. Maybe if the thing starts bouncing around, jumping around, it's probably more consistent. And if he knew he had, if I knew I had Chad covered everywhere else other than the whoops, I'm going to do what I'm 100% comfortable doing. And I'm guessing that's why he did. He wanted to eliminate the risk.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I like that strategy. Do you go for the win in that scenario? What's your race strategy when you know?
No, I think I heard this in the presser once again. He said that I knew where Levi was. So that right there when I heard that he said I knew where I was marking Levi, I could see Levi on other parts of the track, when we would flip back around on the 90s or whatever, 180s. So that being said, he didn't have to win. He was already beating the competitor he had to beat, and that was Levi. So yes, towards the end there, he's yelling at Deegan like, "Go, dude! I don't want to have to pass you." He's just trying to stay clear of him, just to stay in his own race. Yeah, I don't think the win wasn't, something that he was winning already by putting himself in that position and beating Levi and sticking to jumping the whoops. I think, just play a little devil's advocate here, if Levi would have been in front of him and nobody separating them, but they were, call it 1 and 2 or 3 and 4, like obviously RJ, we know RJ, he's going to blitz those whoops. He's going to send it because it was a winner take all scenario. So he would have had to number one, close the gap, and then pass Levi to win that championship. So it started all off great for him right out of the gate. He put himself in a good position, and Levi struggled that first turn, first straightaway, lost a lot of positions, and didn't make quick work of his competitors in front of him. And RJ was riding a phenomenal race. And I bet you, I didn't go back and look at lap times, but towards the end of that race, he was probably one of the fastest guys, if not the fastest guy on the track.
Yeah, he was
the gap on Deegs.
Yeah, he was strolling. So I like that strategy. And then of course I heard some people talking about, well, dude, you go out and win. I'm like, and you'll win the championship. I'm like, yeah. If the win is there, take it. If not, you have a check down list, right? Like, okay, I'm not winning today. Where's the dude that I have to beat for the championship? Because it's like the 72 wins versus 7 championships, dude. I am there to win the championship. The hell with another win. I want the big prize. I want that $1 million+ bonus. I don't want a race win bonus. And Captain Obvious. If you win the race, you're going to win the championship. Pretty simple, right? It's like, so anyhow, it was great. I thought, my takeaways are very similar to of yours of Levi RV. I'm like, dude, overall as a whole, he is 10 times better. And I hope he doesn't beat himself up too much about losing that championship, because he's going to have another crack at it next year, and it'll be some redemption. He did unbelievable this year. Completely different guy.
Totally.
It was, like that guy. He's up and rolling. I think
in perspective, he wasn't yes, I think he, sniffed the podium. Like he rode well, but a lot of mistakes. A lot ended up on the ground a few times. Wasn't a title contender the previous year.
Not even
close. And now he was a title contender, and he was, points leader for a majority of the season. And tied it up, and made a couple of mistakes, but regardless, he was never in this position prior to this. So this is, he looked like territory for him, and only what's to come for next year is only that much better. So yes, he improved tenfold.
Yeah, completely different guy than last year. So absolutely great job, Levi, this year. Yep. So, dude, how about 250 East Coast champ Tom Vialle? Definitely not a surprise that he locked it up. But before you get into it, I just want to say, like, if you go and you watch some of his races last year compared to this year, he's like Levi. He's a completely different guy.
Yep.
He's won the 2 MXGP Moto2 champs. We know we've talked about that a million times. But dude, I go back to that ride in where was it? Philly. That was an incredible ride, dude. Like Deegan all behind him the whole time. I mean, he could have, and Deegan raced him fair. Like he put himself in a very, very vulnerable spot to get taken out. And dude, he rode great. So he never got on the podium last year in Supercross, and now he's the East champ.
Wow, I didn't know that stat.
Dude, I'm almost positive. I think Clinton told me that. He's like, dude, if he did, maybe one.
Yeah. But wasn't like a title contender, like we were just talking, like, and then to come back out, get his first season under his belt, learn a ton, and that's what you see by, learning. He wasn't trying to learn Supercross and learn how to be a champion, right? This is what we've talked about on the show, like you said a couple times. He's already knows how to be a champion and is a champion now from MXGP across the pond. I get that, but the mentality, it's the same mentality. If you're over there racing or if you're over here racing Supercross or motocross, whatever it is, he's dealt with those championship pressures and those championship decisions you have to make. And now that you saw his, first Supercross season, showed very good, lots of potential. But then to come out swinging like he did, and it's only his second season, really, really, really impressive. Really did a phenomenal job. Probably not the night he wanted to, but he had that points gap. Like I said, at that point, you're not worried about the race win. You're worried about staying out of trouble and getting that baby across the line so you can secure that championship.
Yeah, he had he had a rocky heat race. I think he got 9th, dude.
Yeah, gnarly, dude.
Got 9th. I think he did. Did you see that? Like, dude, I'm like, oh man, this guy's.
Yeah, no, I mean,
crazy.
it was, he was able to put himself obviously not erase, but understand what happened in the heat race and he knew he had to be better and also just stay out of trouble. Like when you have that points gap like that, you also don't want to just pull back so much that you make those mistakes, right? Like I can remember Mitch saying, he goes, go out and do exactly what you know how to do. Don't play this cautious. Don't play run these scenarios through your head. Just go out and be you and ride the way you can. And the way their cards fall, the ways where they fall. And that's what he did.
Haiden Deegan, he, dude, how he rode this weekend is how I kind of anticipated him to be all season long. As I say that, you erase him being hurt coming into the season. It would have been interesting to see, just how it would have shaken out had he not come in wounded. So I don't know. Listen, I'm a believer in the guy. I think he's legit. Go.
Yep. Yeah. I'll say my opinion. I think that, I think he would have been a championship threat. I know he still was, but I think he would have been closer. But also young and hasn't been in that position and in a championship position for 7-8 rounds. Right. So, I think that coming in injured didn't help him. But I do think with the caliber of riders that he was racing against, I don't think it would have been a walk in the park where he would have just had that baby wrapped up, and he would have knocked down all these race wins. There's a lot of things that have ups and downs you have throughout the weekends and a lot of learning that you can do. So next year, once again, I'll say it for Deegs also, like, this was, call it his building year, and next year you'll see, I think, what he's really got in him, he'll be a champion, real championship threat. Not that he wasn't this year, but he'll be a real championship threat next year.
Like the favorite.
I would say he's going to be one of the favorites. Yes. As long
Yeah.
as he doesn't, as long as he keeps on the trajectory he's doing, avoids injuries, as we know, it's all part of the sport and sometimes they happen, but you have to keep your nose clean during the off season and then come in ready. And once again, keep it clean throughout a season for eight rounds, just to stand on that top step of the box.
I missed it. I think I missed the call on this. Just the reason I say that is because how well he did in his true rookie season in Supercross. I mean, think about this, dude. He was in the futures at Anaheim last year, and then 3 weeks later at Houston, he's doing his pro Supercross debut. I think he gets fifth or sixth, something like that. Fourth, fifth, or sixth. I think he impressed the hell out of me there. I'm like, holy crap. The guy, he fell down in the futures, didn't do that great. I'm like, oh man. So anyhow, then he comes through and he did really well. Like he had good speed. And then you watch his progression through the pro motocross, and then he goes and he had a little help, but he wins the inaugural SMX World Championship Series in the playoffs.
Yep.
So he's our defending SMX 250 world champ. So I'm like, he's only going to get better based on what we saw this year, just because I just feel like he has something you can't teach. So I don't know. I thought he was going to be the favorite for sure because of those reasons. You maybe not so much. You did think he was there, but I don't think that this is as much of a building year as you do. That's my opinion. But we'll see. I do think next year he better win. He doesn't better win, but if he comes in 100%, I think he's the favorite.
Yep.
That's what I think. Jordan,
disagree.
What about Jordan? What do you think of Jordan, dude? He did pretty good.
Yeah. Jordon Smith did. It was with those two Deegs and him coming in. He had said, I think it said right here, just blazing through the whoops. It sounded like his fork guard got caught maybe on the foot peg.
It did. It did. I talked to the guys afterwards, and
yeah.
You think that was what do you think there? You think so? I think Jordan was getting fed up. He was definitely faster than Haiden, and he went for a shot and didn't make it happen. They collide. Like I think it was he was dogging him for a while. So
he needed to plan that a bit better. Stick on Haiden, because that's where the pass would have been made regardless. Look at the gap he closed in the rate of closing speed there towards the end of the whoops. Like he's almost up next to him. So what he needed to do was just plan that pass a lap prior and make sure that he was all over him coming into those whoops. So he didn't have to bridge 2 or 3 bike lengths. He's only bridging like 1 to 1.5 bikes and get up next to him before the turn was already starting to pinch off. Like if he could have left the whoops side by side, pass made and no crash. Right. So force the issue a little too much, and he was just too far behind right there.
Yep. 100%. You know what though, Jordan, I will say this and we can be done with it. I feel like Jordan, like those type of rides for him, they don't surprise me, dude. He's capable of that. It's like when I always wonder when I see dudes like that ride and put those performances, isn't that you and we know what he's capable of. Like, why doesn't that happen all the time? Like that should be, in my opinion, the main focus. I feel like RV, if I was Jordon Smith and you knew what my capabilities were, you're my riding coach. You're telling me, all right, RC, what do we need to do to get you to ride like that every single weekend? Is it mental? Is it preparation during the week, off bike stuff outside of the mentality side? Like, and you find what that magic potion is and you go for it. Right. Like, so
he's another one that I would say, like RJ last year and previous years, like shows massive amounts of speed, but always has these mistakes, puts himself in bad positions, or just flat out makes a mistake himself. But if he could, to your point, if he could clean those mistakes up and clean those bad weekends up, he would be another major championship contender. Not that he wasn't this year. Like I said, I keep saying that, but once you get about halfway in through, you can kind of understand and see, and okay, well, you can find your guys that are gonna come down to being one or two guys that's going to be in this championship fight based on consistency and speed and with how they're showing up every Saturday.
There you go. Hey, so I wanted to switch it up and do our fan questions a little bit different than what we have been. We're going to do more like we did last season and save them for the end. It's easier for me to field those questions instead of trying to implement all of them into our analysis. We got a good one, and before we'll start here, it is from John Uniac. John says, who surprised you the most this Supercross season? And I'm just going to really no surprises in the 450 for me, RV, but I'm going to go. And I just read this question. So just right off the top of my head, talked about it. All right. Already with Levi, but Levi, go back, listen to the pod. You'll see why I liked Levi as one of the surprises. Completely different guy, and compared to the last 2 years, Coty Schock, I think he's one of the biggest guys that surprised me in the 250
for sure.
100%. Third in the championship, by the way. Third in the
wow. Yeah, yeah, really good,
dude. With a broken collarbone, guy.
Dude, it's that's really cool to see. Like, and correct me if I'm wrong. He wasn't on Club MX to start, correct?
Mm-hmm. Well, he started the season with Club, right? He started the season with Club, yeah, and then I think he signed it. He got him a 3-year deal.
Yeah, it was a new gig for him, though, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So to come out swinging like that, like, dude, like, that's just kind of like I think it's a feel good story too. Mm-hmm. I look at it and Coty, riding as well as he did and making the improvements every weekend, and then having a cracked collarbone, getting that fixed, really, really cool story. Pumped.
Yeah. Yeah. Odd Sharp. We saw a completely different Deegan last night than we've seen all season. Did you have a turning point in your career where it all just clicked? And what was that moment? We talked about it. Like for me, the 250 was leaving, 97 season, going into 98, had a year under my belt. That was a clicking season for me. Doesn't surprise me with Deegan's performance. You already heard that. We kind of implemented that into our analysis. Charlton 74, is Deegan happy with losing the championship as he would have been rushed to the 450 class? Do you think he's bummed he didn't win the championship?
Well, say that again, Ricky.
Is Deegan happy with losing this championship as he would have rushed to the 450 class? ?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he would have rushed. Obviously, he's not stoked by not winning it, but like I had said, I think it was a building year. Yes, he came out, like you said, did a couple rounds of futures. He actually didn't do that well. Then came out, impressed us all in his debut, and rode well. And then obviously started this season with a bum wrist, and finished it up on a major high. So I think personally that this was kind of his building year, his true full season. Not kind of coming and starting with futures and then adjusting. He's now in the mix. It's his full-time position, call it.
Right.
And
right.
I think when you understand that, hey, this is the full-time position, and now it's not like, hey, just coming right out of amateurs, you don't know where you sit. I think that's where next year, that's where you're going to see him be really strong.
Hey, your boy, your boy Weege jumping into the fan questions this week. All right. This is a long one, Weege. Love you, brother. And you making me read here, and I didn't bring my freaking reading glasses. I need reading glasses now. All right. Hey, boys. RC. So we've had this conversation. This is what I'm saying. We had this conversation about this at Birmingham. Tom Vialle won his first Supercross at Daytona, and he didn't even seem that excited about it. Unlike a lot of French riders, he didn't have much of a Supercross background, and even though Daytona has some motocross elements, it's still a big deal to have won a Supercross in just his second year trying. Vialle later said he needed to win in a regular stadium race to really feel like he accomplished something. But even when he did that, he still didn't seem super pumped. I think we've now learned that Vialle just keeps it cool no matter what. But you also told me, this is what I told him, if the goal is to win a championship, you can never celebrate the wins too much. Race wins are just expected in what you're paid to do. The real goal is to avoid the bad races and win the championship. You explained to me that we were seeing a bit of a championship mentality in Vialle already, and now we know that paid off for him. Can you talk about that mentality a bit? Vialle definitely has the don't let the highs get too high part of the game figured out. So I was having this conversation with Weege, and he had asked me, he's like, dude, Vialle didn't even look that stoked after his win, just what he said there. So, and what I told him, and RV, I want to know how it used to be for you. So I went on to tell him, I'm like, well, if he's anything similar to how I was, is like, dude, we're expected to win. And when you win, it's like, hey, dude, good job. That's what you get paid to do. So you're not doing anything that you're not supposed to do, right? You're not going above and beyond what you're paid to win. You were paid to win. I was paid to win. We were a top echelon. And if we didn't win, people are like, what the hell, dude? Why'd you get beat? Why'd you let that dude beat you? Where do we need to be? What's wrong?
Yep.
So I feel like Tom had that kind of mentality. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe showing his expressions is different, just because of the barrier and culture.
Yep.
But so I was going on to tell Weege about, I mean, like, I didn't like get overly stoked about wins because that's what I was paid to do, and I got super pumped on championships. So it was hard for me to get excited about things that I was paid to do. It's just, like
Yep,
when
I agree. Like
go
I was
for it. Like
I was one of those guys that like got the heard either the fans or the like, dude, why does he look so why is he so down, negative, or doesn't look that excited or happy? Yes, that is the number one. It's a long season, so just by winning one, yes, that's great, but there's a whole lot more to achieve and do and win throughout the season. And the other thing I think too is as a racer, and I can only speak for how I was brought up, and just you're only as good as your last race. When Sunday hits, you fly back Sunday, Monday you're back at the training facility, or you're back riding, you're back training. You're already. Jett made a good point. I think it was in presser. He's like, you're already focused on that next goal, or that next weekend. How can we keep this roll and keep the train going down the tracks as good as it's going? Like, you don't have a lot of time to sit back and reminisce, or actually go sit back and say, wow, I just won a Supercross. Literally, yeah, it's great. You get the press, you go down to press conference, you do this. Sunday morning, you're back on the airplane. Yes, are we excited internally? Yes, we see that the work that we're doing during the week is paying off. And when we're stoked for that. But also we know that, literally Monday, the goal is the next Saturday in front of you. And then after that, it's the next Saturday in front of you, until, to your point of championship wrapped up, locked up, you are the ultimate winner of a Supercross championship. Then that's more of when the excitement kicks in. But it also, I feel like it's almost it's a weight lifted off your shoulders that you accomplished it too, because we put so much pressure, internal pressure, in producing these wins and showing up every weekend mentally, physically, in tune with the motorcycle, and trying to do our best. So it's a lot. You're asking us to, or these riders, to be super over the top excited. But it's just like if you win a marathon or a ultra marathon or whatever, you're running 50, 60 ultra marathons, 100 miles. Like, as that dude's rolling off, he's drenched with sweat. He's wore out. Is he excited? Yeah. But does it look like it? No.
No. Well, dude, it's like this, and Weege. So I appreciate this question, and I think maybe the parallel will help explain it better. Is like, dude, yeah, RV and I were stoked for wins, but that's what we were paid to do. So like he said, the end goal is the championship. And by God, that if we don't win a championship, it's going to suck. So like we're so honed in on that. And it's like next weekend, what do? We got to win. We got to stack another win, build points, boom, boom, boom. So the job's not complete until the championship. That's end goal. And we both were raised that way. I think Weege, like okay, for me, when I watch you in the play-by-play position and you're able to, field stuff from the production truck and I'm like, dude, how in the hell does he do that? Like, and then tell a story like, and then I'm like, and I've said this to him, like, dude, that's amazing how you do that. And he just like brushes it off and he's like, yeah, dude, no big deal. Where I'm like kind of tripping, I'm like, dude, that's gnarly. That's unbelievable. But to him, it's second nature. Not saying that second nature is winning to us, but that's my job. My job's to win races and championships.
And how, like you said, how you're raised and how the goal of racing two-wheel motorsports and what we did, dirt bikes and Supercross, is that's what's kind of ingrained in us. Like, yes, if you don't win, we need to do better. We need to figure out why you haven't done, why we're not winning. Push. You're always pushing for that next thing. Now, is it? It's a bummer. It's just the way it is. But I think it's also selfish, and that's the way champions are. Like I think Jett is breaking the mold, and I think he's doing a good job at that, of being his own character and trying to be, a little more open and not so just raw. He's being a kid and he's being himself, and I love that. That has changed compared to myself, compared to you, Ricky. Like we were more cookie cutter. Dunge was more cookie cutter. So I like where the sport's going with Jett being on the forefront of changing, how hopefully we view it as athletes. My kids watch it all the time, and hopefully they're watching that and they can be like, that or imitate that.
Right. We're going to answer a bunch of questions next week on our United Motorsports giveaway prize package, and then little lead up to Pro Motocross Championship. To finish up a couple of these questions, just like Bodie 139, how do you guys measure success in MSSX, money or championships? We already answered that. We would rather have championships. I do like this one, and then there's a couple other ones like actually, what Mickey's _ D. Appreciate you, Mickey's. You're always coming up in here. How did you fellas deal with your first 450 title? Straight back to work or surreal? Yeah, it was surreal in the moment, but then we were focused on headed to Glen Helen for the opening round of Pro Motocross. Same for you?
Yeah, same. Like that's why that kind of coincides with that other question, is like you don't have a lot of time to just sit back and think about it and run through all the scenarios of everything that you went through as an athlete, as a racer in that current season. It goes literally right back into outdoors. And when outdoors is over, if you're lucky enough to win that, it was straight into Monster Cup or straight into testing and developing and looking forward, because you only had about a month and a half before Anaheim, 2 months, before Anaheim won again. So that's where that, it's tough. It's mentally, it keeps you in the, you got to live inside that box. And
you have to, you got to. You have to. Tigo _ 131. Did either of you make a big purchase with your bonus money after championship? For me, I was in the money saving business at the time, so I was stacking them away, dog. So I can spend a hell lot of it right now. So no, I didn't. I mean, I bought things, of course I did. Yeah, without a doubt. But no, there wasn't ever a time where I was racing my dirt bike and like, man, I hope I win this championship because I'm gonna buy this something gnarly or whatever. No, not me. Did you?
Same, really, honestly, the exact same. We had everything, we had a nice car. I had a nice truck. We already had those things. Bought nice things for ourselves. But it wasn't like, hey, I'm winning this and I'm going out and gonna purchase this. I like this one. Jeremy Werner. Do you ever see Jett getting bored winning and moving on to other types of racing?
Ooh, I like this one.
Honestly, like, what's boring about winning? And like,
I think he's going to get, dude, like that's my biggest thing. I've said this from the day one. I think that his biggest challenge is going to be keeping him engaged. And so maybe he gets his butt kicked and that keeps him engaged and that keeps him around. But I just think if he gets bored, I think he's a guy that will take him away from the sport earlier than projected will be bigger opportunities. I don't know. Who the hell knows? What if he gets an offer to do MotoGP? What if he gets an offer to be in four wheels? Dude, he's a polarizing figure. He's probably going to have that stuff thrown away at him or thrown at him.
Yep.
What if he tries it and he kicks ass and he does a good job?
Yep.
Can you hate the guy for bouncing? I can't.
I totally agree. I think that you don't see him bounce until, call it, the nest egg is I'm sure there's a goal. I'm sure there's a goal of like, hey, we want to have X before we're done.
What do you think his goal is? Straight up. You think it's like 30 million, 50 million?
I mean, in today's world, I mean, 30 is kind of the basis, right? Like, I think if you want to like really retire and not have to like think or worry about anything, but I do think that in his position, you know, I also think he likes riding his dirt bike. I think he has fun riding his dirt bike. I can't say that for myself. Yes, I liked riding my dirt bike. But I talk to some people and I'm jealous of some people also that are like, dude, I need to ride my motorcycle, you know, at least a couple times a month. You know, like Chris Kiefer is for example, I just love riding my dirt bike.
Dude, he loves it, guy.
Yeah, exactly. You've heard him say, I just love riding. I don't have that, you know. Yes, I love riding my motorcycle. Yes, is it fun? But it's not something that you know, is like ingrained in me, I guess. Like, yes, do I have fun? Yes, I do. But I think Jett does have fun, and I think he's that's what keeps coming and he keeps coming back to, right? So I think that'll keep the longevity in the career, because I just think he has more fun than I did and you did when we were racing.
Yeah, no, it's different. So you're thinking the benchmark's 30 mil and
I think it should, with the cost of inflation these days.
Guy.
I think
that should be the goal. I need to raise my levels, bro. Golly, guy.
Yeah.
That's what I am. I am older than he is, though. So there's that. Yeah. Right.
That's right. Yeah. You don't need to have as much, because obviously you probably won't. He's 12 years younger. So who knows?
Yeah, he'll do well. It's definitely. Hey, one thing I've learned is make as much as you can now, because it doesn't get easier.
And it drastically stops when you.
It does, dude. It does. That was a good show. What do you got? What do you got cracking for the rest of the week?
Well, we have playoff game again tonight. Like I said, 4:30 we'll be at the field. 5:00 game time, and I got a Blue Crew event coming up at Glen Helen this weekend. So anybody in Southern California or in the area, if you ride a Yamaha, get out to Glen Helen this weekend. It's actually only for Yamaha riders. So that's
really?
That's cool. It's only the gates. Every gate drop is only Yamahas. So it's kind of a cool thing they're doing. So get out to Glen Helen this coming weekend, and that's kind of about it, man. Just trying to on this home stretch of finishing my garage. So,
dude, you got to send us an updated photo when it's done. Yeah. And I'm chilling, dude. It's supposed to be crummy weather here the next couple of days. I'm gonna ride my bicycle a lot. I'm going to try to take the boat out maybe Thursday or Friday. Got a little something to do on Saturday. Hanging out with the kids. They're winding down. They're getting ready for their final exams, and they'll move on to their junior year of high school. So I'm going to hang out with them. I'm happy that Supercross is over. I get a little bit of a reprieve before I leave for the 23rd. Yep. I'm going to Barcelona for MotoGP, and then I'm going from MotoGP. We're going to Isle of Man, but I do have the weekend off this weekend. So I'm going to get my chill on, maybe a couple glasses of wine, some nice dinners, grill up some stuff, and that's it. That's what my week looks like. See, it's because I didn't go buy a whole bunch of shiz when I was young. Now I can pick and choose what I want to do. That's it for this week. No promos for NBC. Like always, thanks to our great sponsors. Remember, get over to United Motorsports, because we are giving away the prize package next week. So make sure you do that. Quad lock case. Weege, sorry, we couldn't give you the winner question. You know you can get whatever you want from us. So just
Right.
let us know. And Weege, I know you like free stuff. And Dunlop and Boxo, we appreciate all of you guys. Always remember we're on Motorsports on NBC's YouTube page. We are on Peacock as well, live on Peacock, that is. So make sure you check us out there. We're on demand, and of course across if you can only listen to audio and you're on your drive home, check us out. We're on all the applications, podcast applications, so we're there. So that's it. We will do it again next week, RV. I'm sure you and I will be texting each other, but that's it for us today.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.